Hello, Jermaine Griggs here, entrepreneur and motivational speaker. And in this video, I want to talk about one of the biggest challenges of life, and that is focusing on the things that matter most to us and being able to get down to the end of life and look back and have no regrets, knowing that we did the right things. We did the right things with the right people, and we did them the right way. Right. And a lot of people, they get down to the end and they have so many regrets about the ways that they spent their time and where they put energy and how they allowed the trivial things of life to take front seat and the things that really matter to take back seat. And I love to use this analogy here. I know you're like, why is he standing here with rocks and a glass vase? But I'm really going somewhere with this. And this is something that I learned from one of the first books that my mentor gave me some 15 years ago. And if you know my mentor, he passed away in 2005. His name is Corey Rudel. He was one of the foremost experts and celebrities online in the marketing space at the turn of the century, right? We're talking the year 2000. And he gave me a book by Stephen Covey called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And one of the analogies used in the book talked about the big rocks, the rocks of your life, right? And so here I have a glass vase, and this represents your life. It represents my life. And there are different ways to feel our lives, and this vase represents it. Now, what a lot of us do, unfortunately, is we fill our life with sand. Well, Jermaine, what is sand in our life? Sand are the trivial things, the things that take up so much time. But when we really take evaluation and inventory of them, they don't matter. If they were not a part of our life would not be affected. Yet we seem to spend so much time on the trivial things, right? This could be, surfing on social media all day, having looked up and saying, where did my time go? This could be video games. This could be gossiping and putting energy towards conflict and tension that just need not exist. And when we fill life with these sorts of things, these sorts of trivial things, right, we find that they start to eat up our time, not only our time, but I'm not done, because a lot of us have a lot of trivial matters in our life, and they start to eat up our energy, right? They start to eat up our resources, and they start to eat up our focus. And it's not unlikely to look back and see that half of your life, half of our lives inundated with the trivial things, the things that don't matter. And I'm reminded of a story in the Bible where Jesus, he talked about the two different types of builders, and one built their life on the sand, right? And they built their house rather on the sand. And when the storm came and the strong winds came and the weather got really adverse, that house crumbled because it wasn't built on the proper foundation. It was built on sand. A lot of us in the same manner, we fill our life with sand, right? But there was a wise builder, and he built his house on rock, solid foundation, right? The rocks of life, you could call them. And when that same storm came, when that same wind came, when weather got really bad, that house withstood because it had the right foundation. It was built on the right principles. And so what happens when you build your life on sand? Well, the next elements that come in are these small little rocks, and these are just extensions of the trivial things. But in our mind, we perceive them to be a little bit more important. I've done a video on urgent versus important things in life. These are like the urgent things that come about, but they still eat up just as much energy. They still eat up just as much time, and these are typically the things, the reason why they're emergencies and urgencies is because we didn't take care to prevent them in the first place. So sometimes health conditions come up because we weren't taking preventative measures, to stay healthy, and exercising and eating right. And so some of these things come in, and that's what we call like the medium-sized rocks, right? And they come in and, take up the next third of our lives. And then there are the big rocks, right? Like in the parable that Jesus told. These are the things that our life should really be founded upon and be at the center, right? This one would be faith. Right? Your faith should be, at the center of your life, right? And this may be family, right? And then this may be your vocation or your finances. But at this point, even if I go for a different kind of rock, I mean, I'm full. I can't put many more rocks, and we're already overflowing here because we started with the wrong thing. We started with sand, and then the other trivial medium rocks would then take up the next part of our life, to the point where when it comes time to fill our life with the things that matter, like our faith, our family, and our relationships, and our finance, our vocation, our careers, we don't have room for everything that would be the center of our lives and would be very important to us. But there's indeed another way to do it. So I'm going to put this one down. And I'm going to put these over here. But let's take on the habits of the wise one who builds their lives with rocks. And let's start by putting in the rock of faith, right? Putting God first. And then we may put in the rock of family, right? Because we want to put our family first. And then maybe our health and our fitness, right? So we'll throw our health and fitness in there. Then would be maybe our friends and our relationships, right? And then, actually, before our friends and relationships, our vocation and our finance, right? And then, it's okay to have fun with those people that matter most to us. Now we've got all of our rocks, whatever those rocks are for you. But I've given you some ideas here. And then, sure, we'll have some urgencies in life come up, right? And we'll have some medium rocks to throw in, and we'll have some of the trivial that we will have to pay attention to at times, depending on our stages of life, right? We'll have people get sick, and we have to care for them, and we'll have some crises, sometimes as a world, sometimes in our own individual lives. And so that may not change. But look, we have our rocks in place. And so, the urgencies of life can fit in around them. And then look at the difference. The sand, I'm not saying sand's not going to be a part of your life. I'm not saying you can't binge on Netflix. I'm not saying you've got to get off of social media, but you don't start there, right? This is what we do. We let that fill up sort of the in-betweens of life. And notice that there's still room, even with this moist sand that's not filling all the gaps because it's raining outside and it's a little moist. But notice that it still can fill in the gaps. And even if all the sand can't get in, that's okay. Some of us, we don't need all the sand to get in, right? And now we've got all the sand in there. The trivial aspects of life still fit in, but they don't fit in first, right? I've learned in life that you can do the same things, but it's the order in which you do things. It's the priority in which you organize things that makes all the difference. So rocks first, sand last. Again, rocks first, sand last. And if you learn to prioritize the things that matter most, you'll get down to the end. And like Paul said, you'll say, I ran a good race. I kept the faith. I finished my course. And most importantly, I did it keeping the things that matter most at the forefront. And that makes for a happier life. That makes for a more rewarding life. That makes for a life that's enjoyed by those that mean the most to you. And you get the things done that need to be done. And you do it with your faith in the forefront. You do it with your family by your side. You do it with your friends around you. You do it with a healthy lifestyle, fitness and health. You do it with finances in the right order because you're a good steward over your resources. And you do it with fun. So I'm Jermaine Griggs, and thank you for watching this video on the rocks of life. And I'll see you next time. Thank you.